Move my stuff to North Carolina.
It was never intended for me to know that Janelle was moving.
I talked to you guys about getting baptized.
I don't know that I want to move into the house and have it be my house because I don't know that it's going to be my house. Just depends on the man that I find, I guess.
You know, it's so funny. I'm sitting here in this bar in Louisiana having a shot, and I'm like, wow, my life is about to really change.
Kody's really struggling with this whole Coyote Pass dilemma, huh? He's torn about whether to sell the land or not, all because he had such a sweet time there. Remember that picnic with Robyn and the tender, sprightly 20-year-olds? Yeah, it was so magical that he's now debating selling it, because surely the only thing stopping him from reliving those golden moments is letting go of a chunk of land. Newsflash, Kody, you sold a $1 million home to buy a $2 million one. You can have those same great times in your $2 million mansion. Same picnic vibes, same family chaos, just, you know, with more square footage and a better view of your prairie dog-infested plot of nothing. How does this guy not realize how ridiculously out of touch he looks? He's sitting there, pining for a piece of land he doesn't even use, while his massive mansion looms over it, and 75% of his kids and 3 ex-wives are barely keeping it together. Keep going, Kody. You're making perfect sense. We've got so much to dive into today, so let's not waste any time. Let's jump straight into it. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Elena here, and welcome back to my channel Reality Nexus X. Robyn's got a neglectful biological father and a hero stepdad. And apparently, according to Robyn, that's exactly the kind of thing she's passing down to her own kids. She tossed them at Kody like he was the full-time dad they'd been missing. Let's break it down for a second, because wow, I'm not trying to armchair diagnose here, but hello, that's some next-level wild. I had no idea Robyn's biological dad checked out on her, and honestly, it kinda makes sense why she's got so much baggage to work through. Feels like she's dumping all of her own insecurities and needs onto her kids. The whole thing with Kody, she tossed him at them like they were drowning and he was their lifeboat. It's like she thought if she could get him to save her kids, it'd save her too. But we all saw that scene where one of her daughters was having a panic attack. So yeah, things are clearly not going to plan. She's been training them to cater to Kody's ego and feeding into his hero complex. It's basically what her mom did with Paul, use the kids as bait to reel in a man. Robyn wanted a full-time daddy, and she was determined to make it happen by any means necessary. And seriously, how wild is it that Robyn's dad was a land surveyor in Vegas? Is that why they moved there, so she could be closer to her family? Talk about a well-executed scam. This woman really pulled a fast one on the entire family for her own benefit. As for her hero stepdad, yeah, he basically ignored her kids, kept them in another state, and didn't even raise her. Her mom? Well, she was more of a mistress than anything else, and now they're hiding behind this polygamy thing as a cover for their trashy, cheating ways. It's a joke. They don't even stick to the supposed rules. It's just a glorified welfare scheme and a baby mama cult. Coyote Pass and other financial matters. If there's one thing viewers should take away from this week's episode, it's this: when dealing with family money, get everything in writing. Trust me, even if you're all family, nothing clears up future messes like a notarized contract. Imagine if, when they bought Coyote Pass, they had actually bothered to sign a document detailing what would happen if the land was ever sold. We'd be looking at a whole different situation right now. Janelle hit the nail on the head when she brought up the titles to the land. Kody should never have had his name on all the parcels. Each wife should have gotten 1/5 of the land in her name. That way, at least one person would have some legal control, which would have protected everyone's interests down the line. But hey, here we are. Oh, and speaking of Kody, he casually mentioned that Meri and Janelle would each get 25% from the sale of the land. Yeah, let's see if that actually happens. I'll be over here with popcorn waiting to watch him stick to that one. I didn't start watching the show until later on, so can someone please explain how this family pot thing worked? Was everyone required to dump all of their income into it? Because, honestly, it would have made a lot more sense for each person to just have their own account. Then they could contribute a reasonable percentage to the pot and still have enough left to buy the basics, or, spend on whatever they wanted. And did anyone else catch that blink and you'll miss it moment when Kody mentioned that one reason they couldn't keep the land was because he and Robyn needed investment money? Right. I sense another business venture on the brink of failure. Classic. Here's the thing. The whole family setup was basically a pyramid scheme where the burden of supporting the kids somehow fell on the other wives. Never Kody, though. There's absolutely no justification for expecting the wives to contribute equally to the family pot, but then making it impossible, or in Meri's case, downright illegal, for them to withdraw any of it. What a joke. And don't get me started on how the producers played this. They tried to pin the blame for not being able to feed their kids on the wives, because one of them was greedy. Yeah, sure. Totally. It's definitely not because Kody was spending money on fancy cars and motorcycles. Nope, nothing to see here. That narrative worked for a while, until, the truth started slipping out. Seriously, could he just stop with the whole safe thing already? I mean, Robyn's dad dies, and suddenly the world is less safe for him. What does that even mean? Then, when his wives leave, it wasn't safe for me to stay. Oh, and don't even get me started on why he chose Robyn. Apparently, she's his safe place. You'd think the guy was living in a war zone with the way he goes on about safety. It's like he's weaponizing therapy speak, trying to convince everyone he's this enlightened, self-aware soul, when really, all it's doing is showcasing just how self-centered he is. And let's talk about Robyn. She's unsafe for every single one of those brown kids, including her own, who are stuck in some kind of never-ending infancy. Honestly, I wish he'd just shut up altogether. He has nothing meaningful to say, just the same tired, empty nonsense, with the occasional mean jab thrown in to make it all even worse. So Robyn's family is in Vegas now. Didn't see that coming. Of course, it's not like she moved there to be closer to her dad, right? Nope, definitely not that. It's clearly just a coincidence that he happens to be working in Vegas now. I must have missed it when she casually dropped that little tidbit in the latest episode. But hey, let's pretend the whole moving for targeting story makes more sense. Seriously though, the manipulation is reaching next level at this point. It's almost impressive how quickly everything's falling apart, and Robyn's at the center of it. She used to be my favorite, but now, she reminds me way too much of my own narcissistic parent. Anyway, I doubt the move was because of her dad, but I'm sure it made finding a place to live super convenient. How convenient indeed. Robyn's got it all figured out, doesn't she? Once she married Kody, it was like she had a hand in every single move the family made. Case in point, their dramatic move to Las Vegas. Really, it couldn't have been more theatrical if they'd hired a Hollywood director. And why Las Vegas, you ask? Oh, because Robyn's stepdad, Paul, just happened to be living there at the time. Convenient, right? And naturally, she's incredibly close to him. Just a little family detail they casually mentioned on last night's episode. No big deal. Fast forward a few years, and surprise, surprise, they're packing up again. But this time, it's to a tiny town in Arizona where Dayton wants to go to college. What are the odds? So let's see the pattern here. Every big out-of-town move seems to conveniently revolve around Robyn's personal interests or the needs of her household. And you can't help but think, maybe this isn't all just coincidence. Could Robyn be a master manipulator, orchestrating these moves under the guise of some grand family reason, while really pulling the strings for herself? And then there's Kody, the so-called alpha male, who's clearly been reduced to a puppet in Robyn's hands. It's honestly hilarious to watch him under her control. They really do deserve each other, don't they? Robyn's been running the show since day one. The family moved to Vegas because, surprise, her father lived there. Then, they packed up and headed to Flagstaff because Dayton decided to attend school there. Meanwhile, her dad surveyed Coyote Pass, and guess what? Kody's name is listed on all the parcels. But don't worry, Robyn's got it all figured out. Being married to him, she's entitled to everything there, plus the sweet bonus of having her name on parcels as well. Let's just say Robyn's not exactly known for her charm. She's been calling the shots ever since she wormed her way into the rotation, before they were even engaged. I can't help but wonder, when her dad was surveying that land, did he try to explain to Kody how complicated it is to develop, or did Kody just zone out? Or, even better, did he try to correct him? Classic Kody move. Did Robyn accidentally drop a bombshell last night? Because when she casually mentioned that her dad was a surveyor and that they had an out at CP, I couldn't help but wonder, did she just admit that her dad played a role in figuring out which properties were worth more and which ones they should snatch up from the other wives? Maybe it's just me overthinking, but it sure sounds like her dad did more than just show up for family visits. He was helping with the whole property thing. Who knows, maybe he even gave them a little advice on how to divvy things up and gave them a ballpark estimate on each lot's value. Also, did anyone else catch that? Or was it just me reading too much into it? P.S. Every week, I think there's no way he can sink any lower, but then he just goes ahead and proves me wrong, dropping further into the depths of turd-dom. It's honestly impressive at this point. And honestly, isn't it pretty much common knowledge that they moved to LV because she has family there? Wasn't that always the story? Did I hear that right? Robyn was the mastermind behind the Vegas move when they left Utah. Really? Apparently, her dad worked for the city of Las Vegas, so I guess that makes it all clear now. I must have missed that tidbit in the earlier episodes. Was this ever mentioned before? Because if I had known, it would have been a whole different ballgame. I'm convinced it was all her idea. Like, no question about it. She wanted to start popping out kids with Kody, but still be able to run over to her mom and stepdads whenever she felt like it. Convenient, right? But the cherry on top. Before Kody even whipped up his master plan to control the family, he sweetly takes Christine to Vegas. All look at how amazing this place is. Yeah, right. I fully believe that Vegas wasn't about anything except what Robyn wanted. Just like Flagstaff, it was all for her. I get that it's hard to catch unless you're doing a full-on rewatch, but come on. I honestly don't think they even looked at another city. And let's not forget Robyn's trusty sidekick, her stepdad Paul. Apparently, Paul was the one pulling all the strings behind the scenes, with the secret knowledge of all these magical places to move to. Connections, introductions, sounds like he was the Vegas realtor in disguise. Robyn wanted Vegas. Robyn picked the day to move. Robyn got the first rental because she just couldn't bear to see her poor kids moving so often. Then Robyn got the family to pay off her debts. Then Robyn got the best Vegas lot and house. Then, surprise, she wanted to move to Flagstaff. Rinse and repeat. And this, my friends, is exactly why I have zero fondness for the dog kicker. The final nail in the coffin. Robyn. When Robyn casually mentioned her dad living in Las Vegas on last night's episode, it was the final nail in the coffin. And I don't mean that in a good way. All this time, we've been wondering what the real motive was behind their move to Flagstaff when Dayton got into college in Arizona. It seemed way too convenient to be just a coincidence, right? But hey, we're just outsiders watching a heavily edited reality show, sure. But then, Robyn dropped the bomb about her dad living in Vegas, and suddenly everything clicked in a way that made way too much sense. In the blink of an eye, Robyn somehow managed to convince Kody, along with his entire army of 13 kids, to uproot their whole lives to cater to her wants. For a while, I gave Robyn the benefit of the doubt, but not anymore. She claims to be all in for polygamy, yet never took on any other wives with her first husband. Oh, and get this. While her mom was married to a man who had another wife, they didn't even live in the same town. So yeah, definitely not the best qualifications to preach polygamy. Here's a fun side note. I recently found out someone I went to high school with is on a reality show. Guess what? She's exactly the same on TV as she is in real life. And trust me, it's not a good thing. I used to think these shows twisted people's personalities, but now I know the truth. No amount of editing can hide who you really are. And Robyn? Yeah, she's been exposed for the manipulative mess she is. I'm just so relieved the other 3 wives finally wised up and ditched her. Let's be real. The Vegas move, total power play. She wanted to get closer to her mom and dad. And more importantly, she wanted to get closer to Kody so she could start popping out his kids. Don't buy that we need to move because of persecution nonsense. They played the public reveal card just to cover their tracks. I'm pretty sure it was only 2 months after they settled in Vegas that Robyn was pregnant. And a little family trivia. Paul is her stepdad, not her real father. Her biological dad bailed, which might explain her weird obsession with men and finding the next one to latch onto. The way she explained her mom's situation, honestly, it sounded like a play-by-play of her own manipulative game. At the end of the day, the moves to Flagstaff and Vegas were both about Robyn. Kody, who's apparently got a noodle for a brain, would do anything to give that woman whatever she wanted. So here we are, exposed, manipulated, and watching it all unfold on TV. I'm so confused right now. Was Robyn ever actually part of a plural family? After listening to her story last night, it kind of sounds like her mother was just the side chick. It almost feels like someone told her she was in a plural family just to make her parents' messy situation seem more legit. Her mom was apparently seen as the official wife in their community, which is weird when you consider that these families don't exactly stick to the whole everyone under one roof thing. They just do whatever is easiest for them. In this case, it seems like the guy just liked having a family in multiple locations so he didn't have to deal with loneliness. And let's be real, from what little we know about Malice, and that name says it all, his first wife probably didn't want to be anywhere near Robyn's mom. I mean, can you blame her? This whole uncle/dad dynamic is so sketchy. But sure, Robyn can tell whatever story she wants. It's not like the first wife is going to be showing up on the show to spill the tea. We all know Alice isn't going to rock the boat. Now, let's talk logistics. Vegas to Street George is like 120 miles, which is just under 2 hours each way. Supposedly this guy is dad, but they only get to see him on weekends. And after the holidays, yeah, that sounds so involved. If they really are a polygamous family and the first wife was totally okay with all this, then why didn't Alice and her kids just move closer to Vegas? Or, better yet, why didn't they do the whole switch off for holidays thing? I mean, this is some top-tier scheduling failure. Best case scenario, he leaves work at 4 p.m. on Friday, gets to Street George by 6, spends Friday night through Saturday with them, then spends another 48 hours there. He leaves at 6 a.m. on Monday to make it back by 8 a.m., same routine every week. Now, let's break it down. He's getting maybe 36 hours of family time each weekend. And that's assuming no snow, no traffic, and no accidents. So once a week, his actual available time with them is what? A day and a half. Honestly, I'm starting to think the legal wife had a lot of me time, while he was busy being the part-time dad. In this episode, Christine shared something that really stood out to me, and I think it reflects a genuine belief of hers. To paraphrase, she mentioned that women often don't get the chance to earn their own money. She also said she wished there was a way for her to contribute more to the family, to feel like she was valuable. And just to clarify, this wasn't framed in the context of polygamy. It was more of a general statement. It honestly made me feel pretty bad because, well, women are out there, thriving in careers and supporting their families as breadwinners. It's not some far-off dream, it's a reality. And it broke my heart a little to hear that Christine didn't see her role as an amazing stay-at-home mom to everyone's kids as a valuable contribution. Like, that's a huge deal. Why are we still watching this show? Seriously, at this point, are we all just hate watching? Spoiler alert, it was so boring. What did we actually get in last night's episode? Absolutely nothing. Let me break it down. We had a tiny, awkward Zoom chat between Meri and Janelle. Oh wait, we already saw that last week. Then we get Christine moving into her Airbnb, which, surprise, looks exactly like every other Brown family move we've been forced to sit through over the years. And don't even get me started on the big moment, a totally fake conversation with Kody's favorite family, Robyn and her girls. They mumble about future babies and, oh joy, Stepdaddy Paul's picnic tables. Why are we still watching this? It's like watching paint dry, but somehow even slower. I can't keep wasting my precious time on this sorry excuse for entertainment. At this point, I'm just gonna skip it and catch the way more entertaining recaps on the Southwest podcasts. I've been watching this show from the start, invested in this family's drama, but honestly, I don't know what I was thinking. It was always kind of boring, but at least you cared a little. But now, forget it. And to think of all the hours I've wasted for these people. I can't even with Kody right now. He's the one person I've never agreed with, until now. Wasted. Honestly, I hate this show, but I love the disgruntled Southwest fans. Can we even call ourselves fans at this point? Your comments are getting me through this nonsense, so at least I know I'm not alone in this slow-motion torture. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and much love to you all.